Well, we did it, friends. This is DnDaily vlog number 365. And I'm really excited because I have one of my good friends here to ring in the new year. Wait, is that right? Is that what we're doing? Is this like a New Year celebration or something? I don't know, but you know what? We're going to talk about D&D. Well, 365 days of D&D, RPG, ttrpg. We also talked about video games, movies, cartoons, comic books, all kinds of other nerd stuff, right? So, thank you for being along for this ride. I am Gregory. This is, of course, 1 in 20 D&D. And wow, lots of big things to talk about and a really cool topic that my good friend Seal, none other than OneCritWonder, has offered to help me with on this last day of the first year of this DnDaily vlog, right? Oh, okay, so where to begin? First and foremost, hey, check it out. I got no headphones on. I got a new mic. I wanted to celebrate the fact that I actually made it through a daily vlog of 365 days without missing a beat. That is quite a feat. I'm super proud of myself. I am grateful that you have come along for this ride, and there is more to come. I guess the first big announcement I want to say is I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. Woo, it takes a ton of work to do each of these, and doing it every single day is a huge challenge. And so I'm gonna give myself a little bit of time. Now, please remain calm. You know, one of my favorite books is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and it says, "Don't panic" on the front of that book. I always wish it would have said, "Remain calm." I like to frame things in the positive. So friends, remain calm. There will definitely be more of this DnDaily vlog. I love making these videos, and it's become such a pattern, a habit. It's a passion project, obviously. So within just a short few days, I'm actually going to put out probably the very next vlog is going to be about a really fun topic and will be a recap of what I experienced over this last year. Today, what I want to do is just send off this first year with one more great topic, because one of the things I love talking about here on the vlog is how we can make our characters better. I love Dungeons and Dragons. I'm a consummate player. I have been a player for my whole career playing Dungeons and Dragons, spanning over 30 years. In fact, I was talking about it the other night with none other than Niff, who was just on the vlog a few days ago, and I think I actually started earlier than I realized, because the cartoon for Dungeons and Dragons came out in 1983, and I pretty much started playing right about the same time, which means I was like 8 or 9 years old, even though I generally say I started playing when I was about 10. So at least 30 years in this fantastic hobby. And one of the things that I've learned over that time is that it's real easy to fall into, let's say, tropes or ruts or like cliches, right? I talk about this quite a lot here in the vlog. It's very easy to take the simple route, and there's nothing wrong with that. When we're a new player, we should stick with what's simple, what's easy. In fact, the vlog I did about voices and how to start out making easy changes to your voices for your characters is a perfect example. And here, this one here is nothing different. It's exactly the same. What Seal, my friend OneCritWonder, is going to talk about today is reskinning your characters, or refreshing them, or taking a different perspective on your characters. I love this topic. I think it's fantastic. I try to do this with most of my characters by taking a skill or a class or a race or whatever it is and making a little bit of a shift so that it's unique and interesting without breaking the rules. This is a really cool topic. I think OneCritWonder handles it amazingly. So I'm gonna turn it over to him, and then of course, as always, I'll share with a few of my own thoughts here at the end of the video. Woohoo! Here we go, number 365.
What's going on, everyone? I am Seal. Folks online know me as OneCritWonder. You may have heard Gregory talk about me because I've GM'd a couple of D&D games for him, Genesis one-shot, and we play together on our every other week Star Wars podcast, Tabletop Galaxy. And he's been doing these daily vlogs for a whole year now, and we've talked a couple times about having me on the show. And now that he's finishing it, I figure I better get around to making a video. So today I wanted to talk about reflavoring things in your RPGs. Now, a lot of the examples I'm going to use are going to be D&D or high fantasy based, but keep in mind that this is a concept that you can use regardless of what system, genre, setting, whatever you're doing. Reflavoring is something that you can add to your game. And what I mean by reflavoring is taking something and changing the fluff, the description, the way that you describe something happening or describe something looking without changing the mechanical rules that affect it. The reason I've chosen this topic is because it's something that I really love to do with my characters. I like going against tropes and stereotypes, because if I were to say that my last character was a healing cleric, a lot of you in your mind might think of like a dwarf in chainmail who's very uptight and rigid and you know, devoted to their god and heals people by bending over them and saying a couple of words, and there's a golden glow around his hands as he prepares a healing spell. In reality though, the character was a female water genasi pirate, played very much like a voodoo witch doctor. So she was a quartermaster on a ship, and instead of the yellow glowing healing magic that we talked about, she kept a bunch of plant and animal parts on hand in her spell component pouch and was always healing people with like thick salves applied to the wounds, or by calling on dark magics and performing rituals, or praying to the goddess of the sea for safe passage on the ship. And not in the typical cleric way, but more of the superstitious things that you need to do to keep your ship from being claimed by Davy Jones' locker kind of way. She knew which days you were allowed to leave port, and that you needed to have a cat on board your ship for good luck, and what meals you could and couldn't eat while on the boat, and how to treat people, and what words were not allowed to be said, and what acts you could or could not do, and that like weird superstitious kind of belief system rather than the rigid established church that you would expect out of most clerics. Now, there are two main things to keep in mind as you begin implementing this in your own games. The first is, whenever you're changing stuff, always clear it with the game master, the dungeon master. Yeah, you're not changing any of the rules per se, but maybe there's something that doesn't quite fit in their world. And so if you reflavor your character to be a voodoo witch doctor, but we're having a very gothic Victorian England kind of campaign, that character might not mesh well. So always check with your dungeon master before doing this kind of stuff, especially major changes. The next piece to consider is how much you are going to change. You don't have to change everything. You can look at your spell list and decide that this specific spell or this small group of spells is the only thing that I really need to tweak to get the flavor of character that I'm going for. Or you can decide that since I have changed the way that I describe my character's class, I also need to adjust their spell list and their equipment to match the visual representation that I have in mind for them. For example, one character I designed was an elven monk, and I've never really liked the monastery shut-in, like naive to the ways of the world but wizened in their own little bubble style monks that the book sometimes presents as default. So I changed it. I had my character get their martial combat prowess and clarity and focus of mind from like a rigorous military training exercise, instead of the like pious monk, I played basically a member of Elven SEAL Team 6. And so I looked at the class and I determined that I was reflavoring the class to fit this vision that I had in mind. So once I tweaked the abilities and described them based on this person's military training and their military bearing and focus and like years of training, I then looked at my race and I said, okay, elf pretty much already fits what I have in mind. And then I went to equipment. So I looked at the equipment, and you know, monks don't really wear armor, but most people kind of envision them in that like very light flowing robes and maybe like a sash belt with a wooden quarterstaff. And that wasn't what I had in mind for this character. So I did more like a very thin leather zero suit kind of. Yeah, it's technically armor, but since mechanically I'm not wearing armor, I wanted it to be very thin, allows them the movement that they need and stuff, but like kind of that like cat burglar style, very light, dark leather, because that's what this character was. And my point there is, look at each piece individually. Find the biggest piece, the primary thing that you're going to change, adjust it, but then go back and look at the other stuff and see if it now makes sense with that change that you made. And with that, I'm going to end this little spiel by giving a shout out to some friends of both Gregory's and mine that they run another YouTube channel, and they're called Roll Initiative. And on their channel, they have a small mini series called 5 Fresh Takes, and they take different classes and give 5 different ways that you can approach each of them from a new kind of non-tropey, non-stereotypical kind of way. It's exactly the sort of stuff I like doing with my characters, and exactly the sort of content that I wish I had time to record, edit, and put on my own YouTube channel, and I cannot recommend it enough. So, once again, I have been Seal. The internet knows me as OneCritWonder. You can find me on Twitter and YouTube, and I want to give a big shout out to Gregory, not only for letting me be on his show, but for making it all the way through an entire year of D&D vlogs.
Oh my gosh, yes, you are so right. Seal, this is amazing. Like, Roll Initiative, okay, the whole crew at Roll Initiative is amazing. I get to play now with Nick. He is Kane on our Star Wars game, and Valerie and Curtis were in our Dragons of Icespire Peak game, which was incredible. They do awesome videos. I learned an amazing trick. In fact, I shared it with you a while back when I was talking about how you can pre-record a sound bite for your characters. Curtis taught me that in his video about Aboleth. Oh my goodness, they are amazing individuals, and they have a great group, and their videos are super awesome. So yes, I absolutely second what OneCritWonder told us and shared with us. Please check out Roll Initiative, and you definitely can bet I'm going to wrangle the 2 or 3 of them in here on the vlog to help us talk about some other wonderful topics around Dungeons and Dragons and TTRPGs. And of course, thank you again, OneCritWonder, for that awesome topic. I love reflavoring characters. I do that in a couple of different ways, and one thing, I love your idea about SEAL team, like the Elven, you know, Special Forces SEAL team something. That's super cool. What a neat way to approach that kind of character, right? Like, a monk doesn't have to be a Shaolin or even a pious. Yeah, why not? Why not make it the way you like it or you envision it? They're a martial arts master. That's what it is, right? That's what you can focus on. So reflavoring like that is super cool. So I love doing that with characters, and I love doing that with like the way I combined character classes and traits, or classes and skills and that kind of thing. And one other cool way I love to do that is also when I use my voices. One of my favorites was that I created a high elf, right? Lots of people like to voice their high elves with this sort of haughty British accent, which is cool and fun, right? No problem. What I did to reflavor my high elf is that I decided to use like a southern drawl, kind of maybe slightly Louisiana you know, he's a southern boy, very good, very highly educated, but he certainly does not talk with any kind of highfalutin British accent. More like a Creole kind of southern something going on. So I had super fun with that. And it's a, you know, again, when you meet a high elf, most people are going to think like, oh yeah, this British, or even an American style kind of haughty, you know, almost like nose up in the air. And I chose to go another direction with that. So reflavoring is a fun thing to do in role-playing games, especially with Dungeons and Dragons, where lots of people are sort of familiar with the tropes. They're familiar with the sort of the run-of-the-mill, the typical way of playing characters and classes and so forth. So I absolutely encourage you follow his idea and his direction. And again, check in with Roll Initiative for even more ideas in that vein, and how to also Curtis's videos about voices are also super cool and very helpful. So wow, what a fun topic, wasn't this? All right, so let me just do a quick wrap up, because goodness gracious, this is number 365. What a trip this has been. It's a little overwhelming to think that I did this. I have so many thoughts about what it took to get here, and I really want to share that all with you, because maybe you can use it in your own life. I'm gonna wrap this today simply by saying just thank you. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my friends. Thank you to the guests. OneCritWonder, this was an awesome topic. I'm glad we got it in the last, you know, the last minute, last hour. That's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I think it's cool. I know what life's like, especially when you have a little baby and so forth. So, yeah, I mean, this is the good stuff, y'all. Friendships I talked about yesterday, in and out of the game, at the table and away from the table. This hobby is incredible, and you, my viewers, my friends that I'm gaining through these videos, you are incredible. I love our conversations. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this conversation. How do you reflavor your characters? What's something really unique that you've done with one of your characters? Let's hear all about it in the comments on the videos. Oh, goodness gracious. Check out one of those videos next, and remember, keep rolling 20s until I see you at a table someday. And it's your game. Play your way. 365 days of a daily D&D and RPG blog.